Teresa Conroy-Roth, and with me today is my friend Rob Frost. Rob and I worked together for many, many years, and I just think he's awesome. So Rob is here today to promote and highlight his new book, Winning with Strategy. Rob Frost, welcome back. This is your second time on Lightning Leadership.
Yes, it is. It's great to be back. I appreciate the opportunity to come back and talk about the book. Thank
Awesome.
you.
So why did you write the book?
It's a good question. It wasn't like a single moment that said, hey, I'm going to write a book.
Yeah.
It was, there's a series of experiences over time that came together. And it's funny because actually you don't know this, but in a way you played a part in that. Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way.
But,
Tell me.
Over the years, I've done a lot of speaking, and presenting on strategy and transformation. Yeah. And a few years ago, you had encouraged me to present at Indiana IT Symposium in Indianapolis.
Yes.
And after that session, I was networking, and a few of the attendees asked me if I had like a field manual that had some of those ideas documented that I could share with them.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But at the time, obviously I didn't, but I thought it was a great idea. And, I didn't do anything with it at the time because I was busy, but, it kept coming back to me. And then one day I was listening to a Harvard Business Review audiobook. And they said that based on a survey of global executives, over half of them didn't think they had a winning strategy. And also even more, it said 2/3 of them didn't think they had the ability to execute their strategy. And I thought, how is that even possible? We've got all these smart people, We've got all these processes, and companies are still struggling to execute their strategy. So that's when I thought, well, I've got some ideas. And that's when I decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and start writing the book.
That's awesome. So as I think about it, right, and for the folks that are watching along at home or in their offices, what are some of the key takeaways from the book?
Well, it's really about, helping leaders and organizations close that strategy to execution gap that I just talked about. We know from research that like 80 to 90% of strategies don't meet their targets. And with my experience over the years, I've seen, strategies look great on paper, but they fail in execution. So I'm a competitive guy. I love to win. So to me, that failure rate's unacceptable. So I started doing retrospectives in all my strategic initiatives and looking back at, what's working, why, what doesn't work and why. And from there, I took kind of a systems approach, looking at how can I mitigate risk and how can I focus on those success factors. But then I also integrated best practices in like change management and even some concepts from Nobel Prize winning research in behavioral economics. And, while most people think of strategy as the how, I developed a process that really incorporates the what, the why, and who behind the how. So it's really more of a holistic approach. It includes that human element, which is what we talked about last time I was on here, with logical strategic thinking. And then over the past...
Is that the Frost method?
Yeah.
Tell me about the Frost, because it literally becomes an acronym, which I think is so cool, because I can't do that with Conroy-Roth. Well,
right. Yeah, that's too long. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So the core message of the book distills all of that into 5 key elements. And it worked out that 5 key elements because I needed a way to easily remember it. And I've got 5 letters in my last name, Frost. Right. So I use those 5 key elements, and it's the focus. It starts with focus. You got to know what you're doing, what your purpose is, your vision, mission, objectives, and then the relationships. You've got to have the people and capabilities to execute the strategy. And then ownership, which is really about a culture of accountability. Everybody's got to be committed and on the same page. And then the S is strategy and the T is tactics. And that's more about the execution. And so I provide some real world stories about how I use that. And then I've also got the strategic planning canvas in there that readers can use right away. And the ideal is hopefully we can change the statistics from 90% failure to 90% success.
I love it. So I think writing a book is definitely one of those things on my bucket list. Kind of already put together kind of a raw dog as far as just a framework, right, of what I want to do. More on that later. It's coming now. But tell me, what was the biggest aha moment that you had? What was the biggest challenge that you had with putting this to life? It's a great book. It's
Yeah,
an
thank
absolute
you.
great book, but any secrets that you can share?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Like you mentioned, honestly, writing a book is harder than I ever imagined possible. And it takes a lot of focus, a lot of discipline. So that was part of probably one of the biggest challenges, was just finding the time and the discipline to do it with everything else going on in life. But another challenge, which we talked a little bit about earlier before we got on here, is I wanted the book uh, to be something that my target audience, which is, leaders and managers and professionals, um, busy people, could actually finish, maybe on a plane ride or over the weekend. And
Yeah,
so that was a challenge, taking 20 years of experiences and lessons
yeah.
learned and even failures and putting them in a short book that still felt meaningful. So it had to be very concise. That was a challenge. But I think in the end, I think that made it a better book.
I think so too. I mean, I love stories, right? Which is one of the reasons why I started the Lightning Leadership series, right? I love
Right.
stories, and absolutely, this one is packed with examples of
Right.
just projects that went well, projects that didn't go well. People that you were able to connect with and shift, and then folks that were a little bit more challenging. And so I love that book for. I mean, I
Right.
love the book for all of those reasons. And as I said, this is one of those books that having read it, that I'll go back to a few times, because it's just so packed with great stories and insights. So that's why I had you
Great.
on.
That's great to hear from you, because I've had a lot of experience on this journey with you and your team
Yes.
at Axia, and so I've learned a lot about winning from you. So I appreciate it. It's great to hear that you enjoyed the book. So,
Oh, absolutely. And as I said, having known you for so many years, right? We were on the journey together, and learned, right, in so many
definitely.
ways, just by situation by situation. Obviously people's strengths and what it really does take to win.
Right.
So Rob, where can people find your book?
Oh, great question. It's out. It's on Barnes and Noble. It's on Amazon as well. It's also available on bookshop.org, I think, which is one that
Okay.
if you want to support your local bookshop, the proceeds go to those. People could also message me directly on LinkedIn if they're interested in buying
Perfect.
one from me and getting a signed copy.
I
It's
might do that.
available.
I think
Yeah,
I want a signed copy.
yeah, I'll send you one. Yeah.
Okay.
It's available in paperback, hardback, ebook, and actually, I just finished producing the audiobook, and it's in review right now. So it should be available in the next week or two on Apple Books and Audible and Amazon as well.
That is awesome. Rob Frost, thank you so much for coming on today.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate our friendship. I appreciate your leadership and you sharing. And as I said, Winning with Strategy, absolutely great book. Get it today.
Thank you,
Rob,
Teresa. It's an honor to be here, and I really appreciate it. Thanks.
all right, sir. Have a great rest of the day. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Bye-bye.